tell me what you guys talk about on the phone.
All right, where would you like to start? Go ahead, you start, son.
All right, well, we talk about a lot of things. I mean, we talk about his past and how he was in the Navy and he went to UMass Amherst and how he grew up in Dorchester. And I also grew up in Dorchester, so we had some things in common, and it was cool. And we talked about a little bit about me and how I'm going to college soon and stuff like that, schools that he's heard of and that he hasn't heard of. A lot of interesting stuff.
Yeah, that was interesting. And I was interested to find out his background and what he was doing. I also found out you're from Jamaica, and his stepfather.
Yeah, I live with my stepfather.
That's right, and he was in Jamaica, and I did a volunteer's work in Jamaica, and we were talking about the same part of the island that I was involved, that I was doing the volunteer work.
Yeah?
And then, of course, about his school, I was very interested in what he was doing in school, the classes he was taking, what he was interested in, the special subjects, and, of course, his grades, and especially what he wanted for the future.
Right.
Making a big point about what schools that he was accepted, where he was planning to go on and continue his education. And then I was so pleased to hear that he had an acceptance and he was a candidate for the Honor Society.
Yeah, the National Honor Society.
The National Honor Society. That was really wonderful. So pleased to hear that.
And, you know, did you have other young people you could talk to, or is this the only young person you talked to?
This is the only young person I talked to on an organized basis. I've talked about the young people standing in line, but not as an organized situation, not something where you sit down and as far as a program. This was very, very interesting. I had done this before in the past. I've taken some courses at UMass in intergenerationalism.
How did you feel? Were you looking forward to the phone calls, or was it an issue where, you know, you made time out of your day? Was it a highlight of your day?
That was exactly what I was asking this young fellow here. If he was looking forward to the phone calls, or if it was something that he was gritting his teeth, oh, I'm signed up for it, now I've got to do this, and I've got to get it over with. And he said that he was no problem. He was looking forward to it. We had about a 5-10 minute conversation, but you can cover an awful lot of work, an awful lot of ground in 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It was interesting that we grew up in Dorchester, 50, 60, 70 years apart, but more or less the same general areas.
Right.
You know, the streets that the major streets that we grew up in, and of course that you grew up in so much later. So there was a family situation, a familiar relationship.
Yeah, we found we had a lot of things in common.
As far as growing up.